I think it's safe to say that we are officially in fall, which I am really excited about. I love fall, but one of the things I notice always around this time of year is that hyperconsumerism really takes the stage. There's a lot of push for fast fashion, fall trends, and the trends change just a little bit every year to where if you are exposed enough to the trends, you're going to start to like them and think that you're missing out. And I, for one, hate that sort of mentality and don't want to participate in it. And this year, I am on a low spend, no buy, especially for tops and really clothing overall. So I've really gotten into taking care of the things that I already have, upcycling them a little bit, or even making my own stuff. And this is an episode in a series where I do that very thing, mending, upcycling, and making my own clothes in the name of being better to the planet. So if you didn't already know that, you should probably hit the subscribe button because I think you're gonna like it around here. And you can also go check out the other episodes in the series. I will leave them linked up there and in the description. For today, I have 4 projects that I wanna work on and I wanna show them to you. First, let me tell you about the one that I am the most excited about, and it is this quilt that I found at my secondhand craft store. Or I guess I should call it a quilt top. I'll put a video right here of the full thing before I started to cut it. I got a little overexcited and forgot that I wanted to make a YouTube video when I was doing this. So I already cut it a few times to try to cut it down to the proportions I'm gonna need to make a skirt. I asked over on my Instagram what I should make. I said skirt. Lots of people agreed. So that's what we're gonna make. It's just gonna be 2 tiers. And what's really cool about being able to do the skirt from this secondhand quilt top is that I think anyone could do this. Making a skirt is actually really easy. We're gonna self-draft it. We're not even gonna follow a pattern. So I'm gonna tell you the basics of how to do that, and I'll show you in this video. Now, to be clear, I am a fall girly, but I am a fall Texas girly, okay? Which means our fall, it's not that cool, okay? It's cool enough to wear like linen pants. It's not cool enough to wear a full-blown sweater. So I have this sweater tank top. Now, I got really lucky because when my parents moved a couple months ago, they had a massive garage sale. It was an estate sale. They have so much stuff. And my mom especially has so much clothes. So I went through all of her clothes and looked for things that I could upcycle or use in projects or just wear in general. And I found this. It is, I think it's 100% linen. I read the tag and it was definitely a natural material. Let me verify. Yes, it's 100% linen yarn, which I feel is so rare, but makes it a perfect option for not even just fall, but I feel like I could wear this in summer and spring. There's only one small problem with it, and that's that I feel it's a little long for how I would like for it to fit. And so I've never done this. I am very intimidated by this, but we're going to try to hem this sweater. The reason I'm intimidated is like, it's not a normal fabric. It's like actually, I guess you would call that knitted. And this type of thing is really hard to sew because of the gaps between the stitches, but we're gonna attempt it. I have this thing called a double needle that's supposed to be helpful and I'm gonna use for the first time on this project, so wish me luck. Then I have my Tevas, which I have only had for, I think this was my 3rd summer with them. I didn't buy them last summer, but I bought them the summer before that. And when I bought them, they were brand new, or at least they looked brand new. I got them at the like resale part of REI where they resell their returns and stuff. But the frustrating part about this is they started doing this last summer. So not even on my 3rd summer, on my 2nd summer. I love the design of these so much. Their collaboration with the Parks Project in Tevas. So I thought that they were really cool and I loved them. And they're easier to use than my Chacos, so I wanted them to work out. But the fact that only by the 2nd summer they were doing this is honestly unacceptable. So I won't be able to use these around water anymore. I got a secondhand pair of Chacos recently from ThredUp, so I'll be using those for water days. But in the name of not just throwing these away and still getting use out of them, we're gonna glue this back together, and then I might even rip this part off and glue it because it's already coming apart. Honestly, it's unacceptable. I will never buy Tevas again, but we're gonna make these last. Take care of your things and use what you already have. That's a good option. Now, I've been seeing these like quilt upcycle t-shirts, sweatshirts all over Pinterest, and I feel I need to make one, okay? I'm not going to be buying anything new for the fall, but like, let's make something that gives the same cozy vibes. I have never actually cut quilt squares and like done the whole triangle quilting following a pattern thing, but I'm going to for this video, and I think it's pretty easy. You could do it by hand, but essentially I want to make a pumpkin sawtooth quilt square. I found a pattern that we can follow. I'll leave it linked below, and then we're just gonna put it on a sweatshirt that I already have that is blank and make it a little bit more exciting. So those are projects for today's video. Let's get started. Up until this point, I have not felt comfortable trying to talk about sewing from like a teaching perspective. It was more like I'm learning and learn along with me. But for this skirt that we're gonna make out of this upcycled quilt, I'm completely self-drafting it. I'm just using the knowledge I've learned from making other things, and this will be completely something that I'm making up on my own. Like, I didn't learn this from anybody else, so I guess I will attempt to teach you how I'm doing this. So I don't know how big this quilt was to begin with. It was kind of really big, and I decided I wanted to make a 2-tiered skirt. So I need one tier that's going to be pretty long from like high-waisted down to kind of my knee, and then I wanted to have one other layer under that, and I want the bottom layer to take advantage of the curve of the quilt. So the skirt has this like scalloped or curved side to it. This was the edge of it. I cut that off to be the bottom tier. So I estimated that the bottom tier should be around 14 inches from the longest part, not where the part is short of the scallop, from the longest part of the scallop, that's 14 inches. And then the top tier of the skirt would need to be around 25 inches. So that's essentially what I did. I cut this to be 15 plus some seam allowance to attach the top tier to the bottom tier. So I added an inch to that. So 15 inches so that I have room to attach it. I'll lose some seam allowance to the tier and also lose some seam allowance to the bottom hem. And then I cut the top tier to be around 25 inches plus a couple inches for the waistband plus an inch for seam allowance on both sides of that. So this is about 27 inches. And then the width to go around you is gonna be 1.5 the length of your waist. So take the length of your waist, multiply that by 1.5. That's how long you want the top tier to be, because I'm going to gather it with elastic. And then for the bottom tier, you want that length to be 2 times the length of your top tier. I hope that's clear. Then the only other thing to do once you have those measurements is attach the top tier to the bottom tier, hem the bottom of the skirt, and encase the elastic at the top. That's what we're gonna do. And since this video is all about sewing and upcycling instead of shopping, it's the perfect time to say thanks to Craftsy for sponsoring this video. Craftsy is an online resource for all things creative, and they have over 2,000 classes in 20 plus categories like sewing, quilting, knitting, crochet, cake decorating, painting, baking, gardening, and more. I really got into sewing at the beginning of this year, and one thing that I am consistently learning is that I don't know what I don't know. Like, I think I know what I'm doing, and then suddenly I realize, oh no, I literally didn't know that I needed to know that. When I saw the class Creative Edges and Finishes by Heather Thomas, I knew it was meant for quilting, but I think it would work for any skirt, any hem, anything that I'm working on. And so I was so excited to watch it because it was a perfect example of me not knowing what I didn't know. They also have patterns on the site, and I have my eye on this free crochet pattern that looks amazing. And I really like that the classes are broken down into step-by-step instructions by really friendly instructors who can share their tips and tricks that they've learned along the way. And if you know me, you know my 2 favorite things are creating and community, and Craftsy really has this element to it that makes it feel like a community because you can connect with other makers, you can even join live streams of people crafting, and they can help answer questions and share ideas in real time. And they're always adding new classes, so there's always a little bit of fresh inspiration whenever you need it. So if you want to check it out, the first 1,000 people to click my link will get a full year of their premium membership for just $1.49. Shout out to them for sponsoring this video. The next step in our skirt is to basically edge stitch, straight stitch, whatever you call it, the edge of both sides of the skirt. So we are combining the front piece to the back piece with the 2 pocket bags all in 1 stitch. Well, 2 stitches, 1 on each side. Not the folklore march.
I know, I was like, what if something happens?
What if something happens?
Did you see the countdown today?
No, but if it's for another piece of merch, I'm not about it.
I'm ready to buy.
Are you serious? So I'm thinking of this as like basically 2 tubes of fabric to make the 2 tiers, and we have both of the tiers put together and they are inside out. So this is the long tier, the pockets are here, it's inside out, and this is our bottom tube or tier, and it is gathered. It might need to be gathered a little bit more, but I'll be able to tell that once I put it inside of it. I'm gonna put this tube inside this one, try to get the gathers of the bottom tube to line up with this one, sew those 2 together, and then we'll put the waistband on. Oh yeah. Okay, now it still feels really like it's big, like it's like pretty much bigger than me. But once you put the elastic on it, obviously it comes together more. And we have this tier attached. Oh, it looks so good. The gathering, the 2 times the size of this one, makes for a very gathered, very swishy. I will also say, I didn't say this before, but this fabric is stained in some places. I'm sure that this is like a very old quilt. Someone maybe made this like a long time ago, but honestly, I really don't care. It's magical, and I can't imagine not like doing something incredible with it. I did wash it a couple times, and I don't really want to use stain remover because I don't want to mess up any of these pieces. The amount of different fabrics that have been put into this is like beyond incredible. So I'm just gonna embrace the stains that are on it. I don't care about that kind of thing that much. And now we can go to the mirror and see if it's about right. I do have to fold it up probably like a good, I think what I did was about almost 4 inches, a little bit less than 4 inches. So it would be, I think it's perfect, but let's go over to the mirror just to make sure. It'll be a little bit lower, huh? Like there. Yes. I'm gonna try this on so that we can mark how much room I want to cut off of this sweater. And then we're gonna attempt to hem it. I'm honestly quite nervous about that. I have to use my twin needle for the first time. So this is what the sweater looks like if I just pull it all the way down. I hate this. I would never wear it like this. I could just, excuse the bird clock, we will pause. I could just like ruffle it, you know, like this, but I don't really like how this looks all the time. It looks kind of messy. And so when I was looking into how to crop like a sweater, a lot of people would cut off the existing hem and then like cut some distance off and then sew it back on. But I actually think that I would like this a lot better if the hem were just completely different. Almost just like a raw edge kind of thing. Basically, I'm gonna make a hem like this, but not a thick one like that, just like that. We're gonna do a rolled hem. It's basically where I'm gonna cut off how much I need. I'm gonna overlock the edges so that it doesn't unravel. So basically lock in the stitches, and then I'm gonna roll it over a little bit and stitch it again with the double needle, which again I have never used. So we'll see how that goes. Honestly, this is one of the big reasons I was so scared to get into sewing, because I really felt like it was this thing where when you did a project, it had to be perfect. Like the measurements had to be perfect. You couldn't like, you know, be off even by a little bit, or then it would mess up everything. And I don't think that's true anymore. Specifically with this, like this line doesn't look straight. I think that's because this is not that straight. And also it's a knit fabric, so things can move in different places. But like at the end of the day, as long as it looks okay and you can't tell that it's like super uneven with the naked eye, which most people can't and would never notice, it's really not that serious. Like I just don't take it that seriously anymore. What I'm gonna do is go along this line and do an overlocking stitch, which for me on my machine is number 15. That's basically gonna enclose the stitches where my line is, so that then when I cut it, it doesn't unravel. And then after we do that, we will fold it under, and we will do that with the double needle. The sound the machine makes when I put it into like really fast mode to do this stitch is quite loud. It's quite an intimidating sound, I feel. We are going to install the twin needle. Okay, this one's gonna be really quick, and I just wanted to include it because I want to encourage you to take care of your stuff and get use out of the things that you already have. I didn't want to go out and get any special glue that I didn't already have. I have this from when I fixed my ceramic pieces a few months ago, but I just want to make sure that I encourage people to take care of their stuff. And I said in the beginning, I am so annoyed at Teva for the fact that these crapped out on me after just 2 seasons. I think not even 2 seasons. That's what's crazy to me. Oh my God, well, hello? Me and my carpal tunnel. I think that other glue is glued shut. Can't deal with that right now. So we're using this other one. Instead of E6000, it's B7000, but it says it's strong and waterproof, adhesive, permanent bond. So we're just gonna go with it. Yeah, my only hope is that I can wear these again. I won't try to wear them in water again, which I think is honestly unacceptable because I feel like that is literally the purpose of Teva's, unless I'm wrong and I just have seen them used that way. Maybe they don't market themselves that way. I don't know, but regardless, I'm gonna put a book on top of this after, but I think you understand the premise of what I'm doing here. Just covering both surfaces in glue. If you were a better person than me, you would clean the inside of these before you put the glue on them. Yeah, you're a better person than me. I'm not doing that. Just putting the glue on and putting them together. Okay. Let's get a book. Okay, leave that there for a day or so. Very good news, I remembered to link this pattern in the description so that you could see exactly which one I was following. Bad news, I modified it. So the pattern calls for 4 different colors for the center for the pumpkin. I didn't want to do that. I just used 2 different colors. And then I also only followed the part of the pattern that was for the pumpkin. There's a part of the pattern that is like for the stem, for the surrounding areas. I didn't do all that. I just followed the pattern for the pumpkin piece, and then I cut my back piece to be the same size that the pattern would have been when it was done, which was 12 inches by 12 inches. And then I just cut my own shape for the leaf instead of using like the stem that they were using. Don't get me rude. But I really like the process of making this. Like, it made me feel like I can make quilted stuff when I've been intimidated by that in the past. So if I can find more shirts or sweatshirts, I will make more of these. It's my favorite time of the video where I get to show you our finished projects. A couple of these are really simple. A couple of these are really involved. And honestly, I can't decide between 2 of the things that we did today, which one is like my favorite of all time. So I guess this is like, of all the things I have done in these videos, or maybe this is just like recency bias, but they're my favorite things that I've worked on in this series. But you know, they say, let's save the best for last. So let's go with the most simple, easy, boring thing that I did today. But the reason that I included it in this is because I don't want these videos to just kind of be boiled down to, or not boiled down to, it'd be the opposite of boiling them down, but I don't want them to just be me sewing and like fully making things, because even though sewing has become like my greatest passion as of right now, it's my hyperfixation, maybe we would say, I know that that's not what everybody wants to do. Everybody doesn't want to take a sheet and turn it into a skirt, but everybody has something that is like on their to-do list in their men pile, and I have so many things like that. So I wanted this to be your reminder to actually go and do those things. While you're watching this video, go ahead, grab the thing that you've been meaning to do for so long and get it done. As you can see, these shoes, they no longer talk, and that's all I could ask for. Now we have another really easy one, but I think that this is going to be one of the most like versatile, most worn pieces in this whole thing. And I think this is also another good example of taking care of the things you have. And instead of always feeling like you need to go shopping and buy something new, look in your closet and see how you can spend a little bit of time making the things that you already have something that you would get more wear out of, which makes it feel like you went shopping anyway. In my case, I kind of did get to go shopping since my mom was getting rid of all her clothes, and I got to have this sweater, and you see how it's hitting in a much better place where I would actually wear it. Sorry, I'm gonna look in the mirror. Yeah, this was actually really easy and really fast to do if you have a sewing machine. Mine did have a twin needle that the person I bought it from, I guess, bought, or maybe it came with it, I don't know. But you can also do this without a twin needle. It just makes it a lot easier, and I highly recommend doing it if you have something that this would work for. Now we get to one of the reasons that I say this has to be in my top 2 favorite things I've ever done in this series, and it's this pumpkin sweatshirt. Y'all, I could cry. This is exactly what I wanted. And to be honest with you, this is the first time I have properly quilted something, like cut the squares out, sewed it on the diagonal, ironed it, did all of these things. And I think that's so special that I made it a pumpkin. And then I just feel like the colors are so good. The size is so good. It looks exactly like the things I was seeing on Pinterest. And so it feels like, yeah, just exactly what I was going for. And I love it so much. And honestly, it wasn't that hard. The pattern that I followed, like normally I feel like I can't just read directions and do something. I'm really more of a video learner, but this one didn't have a video and I still pulled this off and it was actually really fast and really easy. The only thing that was kind of hard, and that's my own problem, is I tried to use top stitching thread on the outline here because I really wanted it to look like chunky here, but my machine was not having it. So we got regular thread, but regardless, I think it's very cute. I'm debating on either cropping it or maybe just doing slits up the side of it now, because I've had this sweatshirt for a long time. I don't really know where it came from, but I never wear it, and I think that that's actually why, because I hate when you have it at full length, it kind of cinches in right here. I don't like that look, so I'm gonna do something about that eventually too, but I'm so happy with this. Ladies and gentlemen, her. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm literally so unbelievably obsessed with this skirt. As a girly who really likes the handmade look, who really likes, I love patchwork in general. Like when I got into sewing, I remember telling my neighbor, like, I just want to make patchwork stuff. I just want to make applique stuff. Like for some reason, that type of thing, embroidery, I just love it so much. But honestly, it's hard to find secondhand. You're not going to find something that someone spent, like this garment in general, what the person who did before me and the work I put into it has hundreds of hours of work in it. It's not going to just casually be in a thrift store, right? And then when you go to buy handmade stuff by like artisans and stuff like that, it's so expensive. It just never like fit into my budget. And also like a lot of things are just not in my size because I'm plus size. So I feel like within the last, I don't know, since the beginning of this year, I'm really coming into realizing what I like to wear. When I see it, just like lights a fire within me and feels like me. I've never been able to express that until now that I started making things myself. I mean, look at me. Oh my god, it's crazy. And like I said, I don't want this series to just be about my sewing journey because I think that it's important to take care of the things that you have, to upcycle, to mend. And obviously we did technically upcycle this because it was a quilt. I don't want this series to only be about that, but I do hope that seeing someone as anxious as me and as scared of like taking a lot of time on something, like I feel like I had so many mental blocks to get to this point in my sewing journey, and I hope that if that's you too, that seeing me be able to do it encourages you to give it a try, because I think it will really change our relationship with consumerism, especially when it comes to clothing, which is obviously like a giant part of consumerism, and it's a huge part of my story. You know, the reason that I really had this huge aha awakening that led to this YouTube channel is because I used to never repeat an outfit. Fashion has been a big part of my life. And when I realized the environmental impact of the things that we consume, largely in my head, that was about fashion. And so I feel that learning how to sew just kind of was the obvious next step in my journey. And I hope that this series encourages you that you can do it too. So I hope you'll stick around. If you like this video, make sure you like it, hit that subscribe button to get more videos like this. And remember, until next time, you cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that you can do. Bye, guys.